Good morning all. Today we shall understand how to conduct an experiment on Stefan-Boltzmann apparatus. Okay. By conducting this experiment, we can find out the value of sigma, which is Stefan-Boltzmann constant. So before we understand the experimental procedure, first I would like to explain about Stefan-Boltzmann law. So Stefan-Boltzmann law states that for a perfect black body, emissive power of the black body is directly proportional to fourth power of its absolute temperature, and the temperature should be used in Kelvin. So while doing the calculations, please make a note that temperature should be used in Kelvin. Okay, and as the law is defined for a black body, we will be using a specimen which is black. Okay, so coming to the experimental setup. So we have, as we have in all the experiments, we have a temperature indicator, okay, and selector switch to note down the temperatures at various points. Okay, for this experiment we need hot water. So in order to get a hot water, we have a container which is provided with coil for heating the water. So you can see this is the container and you can see the coil over there. Okay. Okay, so you can see the water is flowing in this path and it is coming in this container. Okay, this container is in two parts. Okay, we have a hemisphere, half hemisphere, which is empty or hollow. It is hollow. Okay, so on the top of the hemisphere, hot water will come and get stored. Okay, now in this hollow hemisphere there will be a specimen. Okay, you can see this is our specimen. This is our specimen. The temperature of the specimen can be noted this thermocouple. Okay, so once the hot water or the boiling water once it is attained the required temperature, we will open the flow wall so that the water will come and get stored in the top of the hemisphere. Okay, so once this water is stored, we will be noting down the temperature of the specimen before inserting in the space. So we will be noting down the temperature of the specimen before inserting in the space. So once the specimen is inserted, there is a space over here. So we will be inserting the specimen in the given space. You can see the space. So it will be inserted. So once we insert the specimen, we will be noting down the temperature rise of the specimen for a given time period. It may be 10 seconds, 20 seconds. So depending on that, we will be noting down the variation of temperature with respect to time. So we will be noting down continuously the temperatures with respect to time. Okay, now, so as I told you, the heat transfer process is like this. So water is hot, so water will transfer heat to the outer surface of the hemisphere. Further, outer surface of the hemisphere to inner surface of the hemisphere, heat transfer will take place by conduction. Then we are assuming that the inner surface of the hemisphere is completely evacuated, vacuum. So the mode of heat transfer possible is only by radiation. Conduction and convection radiations can be, convection and convection mode of heat transfer can be neglected. So the only mode of heat transfer is radiation. Assuming that, we can find out the amount of heat transferred from inner surface of the hemisphere to the specimen. So here from the inner surface of the hemisphere, the heat transfer which is happening can be noted down with the help of the temperatures. So we are measuring the specimen temperatures. You can see here hemisphere temperatures at different places T1, T2, T3. Okay, and we have a thermocouple provided to measure the temperature of the specimen, and we have even to get the required hot water temperature, we have water bath temperature also. There is a thermocouple provided. So we have all the temperature measurements. So once the experiment starts, so as I told you, what heat transfer will take place from inner surface of the hemisphere to the specimen. So finally we will be using energy balance equation and we will be finding out the Stefan-Boltzmann constant, which is sigma. So coming to the calculation part, So before that, we'll just go through this front view of the experimental setup. This is, so we have part 1, which is the inlet wall. This is the outlet wall. This is made like this to ensure the water is completely filled in the given space. That is part 3. Okay, so in this space will be completely filled with water. Then we have different parts. This is the base. Okay, and this is the specimen. Then we have a rod which is attached to the specimen. So for the rod, the specimen is attached. Then we have this hemisphere. Okay, you can see this hemisphere. Then this is the enclosure or the boundary, and we are measuring the hemisphere temperature in different places. Okay, T1, T2, T3, and we are taking the average. Okay, you can see the specimen is copper and it is of 20 mm diameter. Okay, this is how it looks. Then we have certain observations. The main observation is that the diameter of the specimen is 20 mm and it is only 0.5 mm thick. Here the thing is to consider is 20 mm diameter, and the mass of the specimen is 5 grams. Okay, the remaining observations you can go through. So this is how we are noting down the time and temperature. Okay, temperature here it is specimen temperature. That once you insert the specimen in the inside the hollow hemisphere, immediately we'll start noting down the temperature for every 20 degrees 20 seconds. You can see, so the temperature is continuously increasing as there is a radiation heat transfer from inner surface of the hemisphere to the specimen. So you'll note down until the temperature is almost becoming stable, or with time the temperature is not changing much. So till that time you are noting down the variation of temperature with respect to time. Okay, you can see it is almost stable after 1200 seconds. Okay, so this readings are plotted in a graph where in x-axis it will be time in seconds, in y-axis it will be temperature in degrees Celsius. Okay, so we have this T1, T2, T3 as I told earlier, the hemisphere temperature at different places, and TD is the disk temperature. This is the initial temperature before inserting into the hemisphere. Okay, so we have the average temperature calculated, and it is converted in Kelvin. It is around 357 degrees Celsius. Then the disk temperature is also converted in Kelvin. It is around 306 degrees Celsius. So you have it here in degrees Celsius, you can convert it. Okay, next I was talking about this. So from the graph, okay, so this is x-axis where we'll be plotting time in seconds. In y-axis we'll be plotting temperature in degrees Celsius. So we'll be noting down the slope dt by dt. Okay, so this is dt, capital DT, indicating variation in temperature. This is indicating variation in time. So for this this dt by dt we'll be finding out slope value. Okay, for the present graph the slope is coming around 0.07. okay, degrees Celsius. It is the unit is it is, I hope you can understand, degrees Celsius per second. The unit is degrees Celsius per second. Okay, so this is how we are finding out the value of slope. Okay, now the main important thing is to be observed here is the energy balance equation. So before that we'll find out rate of change of heat capacity of the disk. Okay, as the radiation is happening from inner surface of the hemisphere to the specimen will the specimen temperature will rise and its internal energy will rise. So it's there will be change in its internal energy or change in the energy that will be calculated by using mCp dt by dt. So we know the mass of the specimen. Okay, Cp value of the specimen is given in the observations. So I'll just go back and show you. So this is the mass of the specimen, and we have base copper disk. Okay, in the observations we have specific heat of the specimen. It is not given here, but it should be there in your manual, so you can please find out. So the value is around 0.38 kilojoules per kg Kelvin. So we are multiplying with 10 power 3, and this is the slope. So we'll be getting 0.133 joules. So that is the energy increase in the specimen. So we are talking about this. This is the net energy change in the disk, on the disk due to radiation. So this is the equation, and we are equating it with net energy. This is net energy change because of radiation, and this is the rate of change of energy of the disk. So we are equating both this equation. So we are equating this and this equations, and we are finding out the sigma value. So this is the energy because of radiation on the specimen from the hemisphere, and this is the rate of change of energy in the specimen. So once this is equated, we can find out the value of sigma. So you can see here rate of change of heat capacity of the disk, which is nothing but energy rise in the specimen, net energy radiated on the disk. So this is indicating net energy radiated on the disk. This is the energy change in the specimen. So using this energy balance equation, we can find out the value of sigma. So that comes out to be around 5.69 or 5.67 into 10 power minus 8 watt per meter square Kelvin raised to square. So here please note down that the temperatures should be substituted in Kelvin. Okay. So all the things are substituted and the value is calculated. So while calculation with the help of the slope, you may get some different answers. So approximately we should get around 5.67 into 10 power minus 8. Okay, this is how the calculations are done. So finally you have to comment that the value of sigma is around so much, the value which you are getting. So that should be the conclusion of the experiment. Okay, thank you.